Okay, the death penalty, if death penalty comes back in, that would be the end of Turkey.
Right now, President Erdogan rules by decree, and ever since, more than 60,000 soldiers, policemen, officials, teachers were suspended, and more than 30,000 are in jail. Is this the actual coup?
All right. The actual coup is the fact that the Gülenists have actually been able to penetrate to all levels of state to this extent. That's a coup in itself, right? That they made, look, for 10 years, until the 2010, 2011, there was a perfect Catholic marriage between Gülenists, I mean, to use the metaphor, between the Gülenists and the Erdogan government, right? They were going to run the state, and he was going to win elections and run the government, all right? Now, but at some point, I think the Gülenists made the mistake, like, well, if we're actually doing all the work, right, policing, prosecuting, legal work, and all of that, why not govern as well? And there were a lot of people who actually didn't believe that this movement is actually trying to have a coup over the state. So who has allowed that coup to happen? It's the Erdogan government himself, which is so sad as a commentary, but that has come to bite him now. And now he has to undo the damage. And again, as I have said in the Gezi thing, any government who has actually done all of this and allowed this to happen should have resigned by now, right? But I don't think he is, because he thinks he's the only one, him being the major target. I mean, the guy was really going to die, right? He's in a position now to clean all of them. And apparently, once you're labeled as a Gülenist now, you can be removed from your position with no legal resort, because the state of emergency eliminates all the legal resort. Yes, perhaps a new coup, a re-coup, but the real coup was the Gülenists penetrating into these echelons of power within the state. Now they're trying to have them retreat.
So Erdogan cleans up, in his own words, he cleans up in front of his own door, actually.
Yes.
So, and he even considers to introduce the death penalty. But what are the possible consequences? How will Turkey be like without all the people suspended and people in jail? And
okay, the death penalty, if death penalty comes back in, that would be the end of Turkey. I'm not exaggerating. I think Turkey would get, whatever that Shanghai Five, alliance that he's imagining on the sort of the Eastern Bloc will be completely off the European world and the European Council, legal system. I mean, I don't think they can go that far. I mean, I think there's going to be a very careful analysis, I think, of how these state of emergency laws and the decrees will be implemented. And I think the entire world will be watching, and he knows that. I think I'm still hopeful that he'll be very careful in persecuting and prosecuting people, and will actually look for real evidence. Any type of loyalty that is not based on rule of law should definitely be cleaned up. And I think he should definitely stay within the rule of law as he does that, because that is exactly what the Gülenists have done. That they've violated every single principle of rule of law by creating these extraordinary courts, creating manufacturing evidence, really incriminating people on a wide scale to sort of further their agenda. And if he does the same thing right now, we're never going to be able to get over this. That would be a sad, sad turn of events. So, but everybody will be watching that. I mean, we are very vigilant about this, and I think he's aware of that as well.
Also, scientists and academics are not allowed to leave the country right now. And how far are you affected?
They're softening that right now, that if you're invited to a conference and if it's for academic purpose, you get the letter of invitation, you get the okay from your own rector, and now you can travel. But as we speak, the rectors were given a letter to send the Higher Education Council a list of possible academics that have linkages with Gülenists. Now, what does that mean? we don't walk around with a sort of, oh, I am a good. I mean, the law is defined in such ambiguous terms. Anybody related to the Gulen movement, somehow affiliated, but fine, fine. But what does that mean? Have you misused your own position? Have you violated the law? Have you done anything criminal? Well, then, yes, they should be, prosecuted and jailed and punished. But those who have nothing, who might have some sort of sympathy, whatever, fine, but have not abused their position, what do you do then? That's the thin line that's going to be, very interesting to watch. But they're all like, whoever is sympathizer, whoever is so there is a risk of a big witch hunt, which is going to be very, very dangerous. And then, of course, if that goes beyond the Gülenists and say, well, in the meantime, we'll just get rid of all the opposition. Those people who signed that petition, we'll start. This can go anywhere. And that would be the really sad term. I'm still hopeful that it's not going to go there.
You already mentioned it. There's like this fascination for President Erdogan. He has such hardcore supporters. They are willing to die for them. But what could possibly weaken his position and his authority? Or in short, what is his weak point? What could endanger his authority?
I think his authority was in danger that night. And I think he still feels the fact that, okay, there are so many weird questions about the coup itself. I don't want to go into all these conspiratorial things, but I don't think even he can trust his immediate entourage anymore. And that's very sad. The fact that he cannot trust anybody in the state right now is already a big sign of weakness. But his biggest strength are the people.
But what could weaken his position within the people?
What would weaken? Well, that would be very... He's gained respect of even the biggest opponents at this point, with how he actually had the audacity. The guy could die immediately right there and then. And the guy says, what the hell are you talking about? I'm flying to Istanbul, knowing very well that Istanbul is a very uncertain place. That is how he is. He actually relishes that kind of moments of crisis where he comes up on the top, and that's how he has survived all of these corruption scandals and then in this case, as long as he has that support, we're not going to be able to topple him. The only way that he's going to go away is if this kind of non-government, if the state becomes dysfunctional, and if this combines with an economic crisis, and that dysfunctionality becomes really evident, that nothing is governable anymore, then you would expect him to lose elections, literally. And that's why I prefer him to a Gülenist military coup. He can lose elections. We have shown that he can lose elections. On 7th of June, 2015, he actually lost election. He then started a war with the Kurds, fine, but it was possible to win in the ballot box. So the point I'm trying to make, let's wait for him to actually lose elections rather than trying to topple him, for God's sake.